U.S. gold rush changed history big time, fueling westward expansion and shaping America's economy. From when the first gold strikes first occurred in the United States to modern day, gold has symbolized wealth and opportunity. Discover how its value skyrocketed over time and why this rare metal remains one of the world's most coveted treasures on today's episode of 5 Weird Things. Welcome to the channel. I did basic training in the Army at Fort Knox, Kentucky, which happens to be the location of the legendary U.S. gold repository. Now, I never got to see the gold, but I did run by it once. I didn't get to look around because I was being chased by a drill sergeant at the time. Now, what about yourself? Ever seen Fort Knox or have a gold story? Tell me down in the comments. All right, let's get into it. First, the things we all need to know. The U.S. gold rush was a defining era of ambition, adventure, and for many, heartbreaking and backbreaking disappointment. When word spread of gold discoveries, thousands of hopefuls packed their belongings and headed to the mining regions, chasing dreams of instant wealth. Now, some struck it rich, but most found only hard labor and harsh conditions. Towns boomed, industries grew, and new technologies emerged as mining evolved. The rush forever altered the landscape, the economies, and the migration patterns, shaping the future of the nation. Though the frenzy eventually faded, the impact remains visible in historic towns, legends of lost treasure, and enduring fascination with the idea that one lucky strike could change everything. Everybody got that? Good. Weird thing number 5. Alaskan gold miners were the wildest survivalists you ever saw. Now, gold miners in the Alaskan wilderness faced brutal conditions, forcing them to get creative and sometimes downright strange, on the verge of savage, just to survive. The Klondike gold rush of the late 19th century brought thousands of hopeful prospectors to the icy north, but many were unprepared for the extreme environment. One of the oddest survival tactics was eating shoe leather when food ran out. A lot of people forget that's still part of a cow. Starving miners stranded in the snow would boil their leather boots to soften them and extract any remaining nutrients. It wasn't exactly a hearty meal, but it will keep you alive and keep you going. To stay warm, some miners slept with heated rocks tucked into their clothing or under blankets. Others, lacking proper shelter, dug caves into frozen hillsides to escape the wind. Now, this worked well for insulation. It also meant dealing with the occasional cave-in or unwanted animal visitors. Boy, that'll wake you up in the middle of the night. Another unusual strategy involved drinking alcohol to stay warm. Bad idea. Many miners believe that whiskey helped prevent frostbite, but in reality, alcohol only made them feel warmer while actually lowering body temperature. A dangerous misconception in sub-zero conditions. If it's chilly out, have a snort. If you're in sub-zero conditions, that might kill you. Now, for transportation, some miners used dogs, reindeer, or even moose to pull their sleds. A few desperate prospectors even attempted to domesticate caribou, which proved nearly or just flat out impossible. When food supplies ran low, some turned to foraging for leaching. That's a type of moss grew in a lot of caves that could be boiled into a barely edible paste. Others hunted whatever they could find, squirrels, porcupines, which is a bit of a prickly meal. Despite these hardships, many miners persevered, driven by the hope of striking it rich. Their survival methods might seem strange today, but in the unforgiving Alaskan wilderness, they often meant the difference between life and death. Weird thing number 4. The first U.S. gold rush was not in California or Alaska. The first gold rush in the United States didn't happen in California. It started in North Carolina in 1799 when a 12-year-old boy named Conrad Reed found a shiny 17-pound rock while playing near Little Meadow Creek. Unaware of its value, his family used the gold nugget as a doorstop for 3 years before finally taking it to a jeweler who recognized it as pure gold. Word spread quickly, and soon prospectors began scouring the creeks and rivers of North Carolina in search of more gold. By the early 1800s, miners were panning for gold all over Cabarrus County and beyond. In 1828, the state became home to the first official gold mine in the United States, the Reed Gold Mine, named after Conrad's family. At first, mining was simple. Gold was easy to find in stream beds and could be collected by hand or with pans. But as surface deposits dwindled, miners dug deeper, leading to the development of underground mining techniques. By the 1830s, North Carolina was producing so much gold that the U.S. government opened a branch of the mint in Charlotte to process the metal. The North Carolina gold rush lasted for several decades, attracting thousands of prospectors. However, when gold was discovered in California in 1848, many miners left for the West Coast and North Carolina's boom slowed. Despite being overshadowed by California's rush, North Carolina's gold history remains significant. Today, visitors can tour the Reed Gold Mine, where they can still see the original mining tunnels and even try their hand at panning for gold. The legacy of America's first gold rush lives on, proving that sometimes history's biggest moments start with the smallest discoveries. Weird thing number 3. The U.S. Gold Reserve, Fort Knox, located in Kentucky, is home to one of the most famous gold reserves in the world. The United States Bullion Depository, as it is officially known, was built in 1936 to store the nation's gold supply. At the time, the U.S. was still using the gold standard, meaning that paper money was backed by physical gold, and the secure facility was needed to protect the growing reserves. When we had the gold standard, the U.S. dollar was incredibly strong. Why? It had a backing to it. By 1941, Fort Knox held an astonishing 649.6 million ounces of gold, which was more than half of the gold ever mined in human history. At its peak, it stored over 4,500 metric tons of gold. However, gold wasn't the only valuable item kept there. During World War II, Fort Knox also safeguarded the U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Magna Carta to protect them from potential enemy attacks. Today, the depository still holds a significant portion of the nation's gold, although the exact amount is classified. Estimates suggest that about 147 million ounces, which is about 4,580 metric tons, remain inside, worth hundreds of billions of dollars. However, unlike in the past, the gold is no longer used to back U.S. currency, as the country abandoned the gold standard in 1971. Security at Fort Knox is legendary. The facility is surrounded by fences, armed guards, and multiple layers of security, including a blast-proof vault door. Only a handful of people have ever been inside, and the last known public visit was in 1974. Although its role has changed over the years, Fort Knox remains a powerful symbol of U.S. financial strength. While its gold may never be used again, it continues to serve as one of the most secure and mysterious vaults in the world. Weird thing number 2. Gold mining methods during the gold rush. Now, during the gold rush in the U.S., miners used several methods to extract gold, each requiring different levels of effort, skill, and luck. As easy-to-find gold disappeared, the stuff on the surface of the earth, mining techniques became more complex. The easiest? Panning for gold. That is the simplest and most well-known method. Panning involves swirling river sediment in a shallow pan. Now, since gold is heavier than other materials, it settles at the bottom. Now, this method was very low cost, but extremely slow, making it ideal for beginners, but frustrating for those hoping to strike it rich quickly. Next up, sluice boxes and rockers. To process more material, miners built sluice boxes, long wooden channels with ridges to trap gold as water carried lighter materials away. Rocker boxes were a portable alternative that worked like a cradle, allowing miners to sift through sediment without relying on strong water current. These methods increased efficiency, but still required patience and a steady water supply. Then came hard rock mining. As surface gold disappeared, prospectors turned to hard rock mining, digging deep into mountains to extract gold trapped in quartz veins. This method involved drilling, blasting, and crushing rock before chemically separating the gold. It was labor-intensive, dangerous, and expensive, making it accessible mainly to well-funded mining companies rather than individual prospectors. Next up, hydraulic mining. One of the most dramatic techniques, hydraulic mining used high-pressure water cannons to erode entire hillsides, washing gold-rich sediment into sluice boxes, massive sluice boxes. While effective, this method devastated landscapes and clogged rivers with debris. leading to the eventual ban in the 1880s. This was back when there were virtually no environmental regulations, but this was absolutely destroying the environment in the areas of mining. Now, each method reflected miners' determination and sometimes desperation to find gold, shaping both the economy and the environment of the American West. And finally, weird thing number 1, the value of gold over the years. Now, gold has held immense value throughout history, not just in the US, but worldwide. But during the gold rush era, it became a symbol of both opportunity and financial stability. In the mid-1800s, gold was worth about $20 an ounce, which was a fortune for early prospectors. Average daily wage for unskilled labor during that point was about 25 to 30 cents a day. Now, as more gold entered circulation, economies adapted, and gold played a crucial role in backing U.S. currency until the country abandoned it, as I mentioned, back in the gold standard back in 1971. Now, over time, price of gold has skyrocketed. By the 1930s, it was fixed at $35 an ounce, but after the gold standard was dropped, prices fluctuated on supply, demand, and economic uncertainty. By 1980, gold hit $850 an ounce. And today, it often trades near $3,000 an ounce. Its value driven largely by scarcity, durability, and universal appeal. It doesn't corrode, it's easy to shape, and it's been coveted by civilizations for thousands of years. Gold's worth isn't just about tradition, it's also practical. It's used in electronics, medicine, and aerospace, where its conductivity and resistance to tarnish make it essential. During economic downturns, gold becomes even more valuable because investors see it as a safe haven asset, holding its value when other investments falter. Despite its financial significance, gold's allure is also psychological. It has been linked to wealth, power, and prestige for centuries. Even today, people continue to hoard it, whether as bars in a vault or jewelry passed down through the generations. From the days of miners panning for flakes in icy rivers to modern investors tracking market trends, gold remains one of the most sought after and enduring forms of wealth, a shimmering reminder of humanity's long-standing obsession with rare and beautiful things. Well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you for watching. Do yourself a favor, buy some gold for your retirement. Then do me a favor and click those videos above. It's going to toss you a dime, and it really will help me out. Take care. Have a great day.